We are a company that's moving closer and closer to the center of EDM by the day. You're going to have to bear with the presentation a little bit. We've operated...
Sorry to interrupt. Can you explain EDM just to people that don't know it?
Electronic dance music.
Okay.
DJ mixes. We've operated stealth for the last 2 years. We really made our first formal announcement about 4 weeks ago. This is the first time we've actually done an event like this. So you wouldn't have found us at a trade show. What you're going to see is something that looks more like an investor document, which pretty much most of the meetings that we've done over the last 2 years with decks. But anyway, the company was founded in 2009 by a pretty sharp 27-year-old EDM dance fan who realized that DJs had no way to monetize their content. 99% of a DJ's content is performed live. 99% of a DJ's content is remixed music from other artists. Those artists, if the DJ wanted to monetize his content, would all have to be identified, paid, all the reporting done downstream to ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and Sound Exchange, all the PROs. And until we developed this technology, Mixscan, a couple of years ago, there was no way for the DJ to do that. So what we did is we basically fixed a giant problem in the music ecosystem, at least in the DJ world. So where you have today single tracks and albums that go through whatever distribution channels they need to get downstream to Pandora, Spotify, all the major music services, iTunes, etc. Long-form content, because technology didn't exist to not only identify who the underlying artists were in mixes, but to then properly track all the data points and report them downstream. None of those could be found in any of these music sites. So if you are an EDM or dance music fan, you'll notice that you've yet to find an hour-long mix of David Guetta, Skrillex, deadmau5, or one of those folks in any of the legal music services, unless it's their own original content. So this huge volume of long-form content, these 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour DJ mixes that are performed 4 or 5 days a week by these artists, sort of fill up in their hard drives. And what they've been able to do until now was share that free. So a lot of free non-compliant sites like SoundCloud, Mixcrate, Bandpage, some other folks have popped up. They basically put the onus on the artist to say, if you're going to share your music on this site, we're going to assume and you're going to agree that you have all the rights to do that, which they don't, which is the same issue that, or same way about it that YouTube goes about managing rights. And basically it's at the artist's risk. Artists should know, and most don't, that if they are found in copyright infringement, the DJ is sued by an artist whose music he mixes. First offense is 5 years in prison, $250,000 in fines. Now, the music industry has allowed this to this point because it's good for the music industry. Dance music, EDM, has kind of been underground. Music industry almost wants their music promoted by these artists, so it's been okay. But what's happened is EDM has now become mainstream. Dance music is now one of the largest genres in the music space, and it's now consuming a lot of the potential revenue opportunities. In the last 4 months, the RIAA, the recording industry, basically police organization, has served 10 million takedown notices. 6 months ago, they served none. So they are very clearly after artists. The takedown notices basically require the artist to take down their music. They have the option to take it down or not. If they choose not to take it down, they potentially could be facing serious litigation. The challenge with this DJ mixing has been single track is kind of binary, right? If you just have an artist produce a song, it's either played or not played. In the case of a DJ curated mix, there may be 30 or 40 tracks in a particular 1 hour mix. Each one of those tracks has up to 4 or 5 rights holders. And in order to properly report downstream to the PROs, you have to track every listener data point, where they come in, where they go out. If they fast forward, the artists in between don't get reported downstream because they don't get paid. Mixscan is the technology that we developed over the last 2 years to do that. In order to develop Mixscan, we had to develop a platform to send the mixes out to. That's TheFuture.fm. TheFuture.fm, as you can see on the right, is a streaming music platform, very similar to most of the other music platforms. The big difference is our content's exclusive. So we don't have any single track pieces of content. We have mixes. We have live performances from artists. They have performed at Coachella. They download that mix or they upload that mix into our system, the crate. It's processed through the Mixscan technology and we deliver it out to the Future.fm platform. It can be delivered out to any platform through APIs. Today we're choosing to deliver it just to our platform. It's basically the platform we used for the last 2 years. It was previously known as dubstep.com. And as you can see, we report all royalties downstream and we create some pretty interesting data and analytics around the play and the usage. Fix the ecosystem. And here's the size of the opportunity that we look at. There are 563 million dance and electronic fans between the age of 13 and 54 globally. Should note that half of those are in India. And about 65 million are US based. In terms of music subscription service growth, the music industry, as you know, is driving at about a 4 times higher rate on streaming revenues than it is on downloads. So clearly, music industry is moving more towards streaming, more towards cloud. In our particular genre, because these artists create 4 or 5 new mixes literally a week, the content has a very short shelf life. So downloads are really not where we're looking for most of this music to be distributed by. In 2017, it's estimated that this will be over a $1 billion industry, just dance and electronic streaming. Today, we're the only company that can service that industry. We've gotten some great press. As I said, over the last 2 years, what we've done is we've delivered this out to our own platform. The Future.fm is the platform that's consumer-facing. Anybody can go out and visit it. It's got the best artists in the world, best mixes in the world on it. It grows every day. But we've yet to market it to consumers. So you can see, sort of as a very organic, viral growth path over the last 2 years, the company's grown pretty substantially. We now have the world's largest library of fingerprinted mixes, 12,500 mixes. We've grown from 3,000 to 84,000 members. Again, it's not a lot, but we never promoted it to members yet. We've just crossed our, last month, our 2.5 millionth mix play. And in January of 2013, we launched the industry's first DJ royalty program and subscription program for fans. Subscription program brings fans premium content from the artists. The artists get paid multiple royalty streams. So in essence, for every $1 that's collected from a fan as part of the subscription, 40% right off the top goes to the underlying artists whose music that DJ mixed. We handle that on behalf of the DJ, and the DJ receives about 20% off the top of the balance of the revenue that comes from the fans. So let me give you a view of the site. The site has a free level for fans that's ad supported, and it now has a $6.99 monthly subscription plan that basically delivers you all the mixes ad-free, premium content. And in the second quarter of 2013, we will begin streaming live from about 100 clubs throughout the country. So on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night, you will be able to listen to possibly your favorite artist from any club anywhere in the world. Any questions?
Yeah.
So you say you have essentially a commercial license. So could this be played in a restaurant or a bar?
We don't have that license. We operate under DMCA compliance. So to operate within a bar, you'd have to have a commercial license to do that. Yeah. But we do have, Lucille Roberts, as an example, just got a commercial license and they now stream our music into their clubs. We've done some brand deals, so brands are taking a lot of the music, attaching their artists to them and putting them out on their site through an embeddable player that we provide to them as well. Yeah.
First of all, you guys still have 560 Broadway?
We are.
Awesome. Secondly, I was wondering if you've been compensating rights holders from the beginning, or if there was kind of like a tipping point where the technology became good enough for you to start doing that.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually one of the reasons I joined the company is I come from the rights world. The company has operated in full rights compliance from day one, which is highly unusual in this space. We really have almost no competition that's operating in a rights compliant manner. It costs us 40% of the revenue off the top, but where we find ourselves today is in a really good place. We're working with all the major labels, we're working with underlying rights holders, we're kind of the friends of everyone in the industry, in the EDM space. And one of our board members is the president of Sony Gracenote, who we've been partners with, and he was pretty influential in keeping us, in line and being rights compliant along the way. One of the things that, fans get frustrated with takedown notices is the music's not there. So you go back to SoundCloud, your favorite mix is gone. And then you ping the artist, and the artists get frustrated because the fans want to know where their mixes are. So we give them not only a safe haven for their mixes, but a way to monetize it as well. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm still confused. My name is Debbie Newman. So, I know enough about the EDM world to be dangerous, but my understanding is that when a DJ is creating his mixes, he's using, to some degree, the stems or the master recordings of a bunch of different stuff, which is not it's not a compulsory or statutory use that you can just go pay sound exchange and the PROs for that. They're actually creating a new work with other people's works, which is actually requires a negotiation and a permission and not just a sharing of revenues, but they don't have the right. It's not a compulsory right to do that, like a mechanical would be. So when you say you're clearing and distributing all these royalties, are you actually going and clearing every sample, every song that's used in a long-form mix?
Yes, we are.
From the master recording holder and the publisher to create a derivative work, which is in essence what that is?
Yeah, we compensate ASCAP, CSAC, BMI, and Sound Exchange, so all the rights holders.
But that's not, okay. But I'm not convinced that that's,
There's a lot of debates
Right,
around it.
but-
There's
right.
the major labels and underlying artists and rights holders support what we're doing because we're the only site that's actually getting them paid on mixes. So we are, there is debate in the space, but nobody's debated against us. People have only been debated for us in the space.
well, they're not creating a DMCA webcasting, non-interactive webcasting stream, which is what Sound Exchange covers. So I'm just curious how you're doing it under Sound Exchange, but that's a bigger discussion. But it's interesting. Thank you.
I like that discussion, though. I mean, it's something that needs to happen. I think probably 90% of the room don't really understand exactly what all the rules are, and so I think it's important.
Well, some of the rules nobody understands in new areas, especially in things like streaming into clubs. And I actually just recently had a long conversation with the head of legal and business affairs of the RIAA to ask their position about a couple of new things that mostly involve venues in that respect, and their position on some things that they haven't yet made public and pursued in terms of things that they're looking at. And there's a lot of things happening creatively and technology-wise that's in a lot of gray zone in particular, but there are some things that are not gray. And a lot of these issues of mechanicals and performance royalties and the copyright law is very clear about a bunch of different things. So you can operate in the gray zone for a while and see what happens, but some of these things are more complicated than they look at the beginning.
Yeah, one of the things that seems to be really resonating now is whether the original artist had the opportunity with the technology to develop that work himself. And if he did, they're thinking about putting that under a different royalty program than if they didn't. Because then if they didn't, then the new mix or new creation of that music may be an infringement because the original artist didn't have the opportunity to do that. But if an artist creates a song today and somebody remixes it, there's an argument that that artist could have remixed it themselves as well. So the bottom line is, we work with the RIAA, we work with NARM, we work with all those folks. We're operating to the best compliance of which anyone can tell us to operate today. Yeah.
So you guys are coming up with a lot of really creative ways to monetize your user base, live streaming, live shows, the user content on the website.
Right.
What do you think is the biggest growth opportunity for you guys in the next 2 years?
I think live is. I believe that because these artists perform so frequently, and because they've been unable to monetize live performances outside of a local venue, you know, even a big artist like Etta played Marquee the other night, which, you know, about 1,000 folks can visit Marquee. He realizes that if he could stream that globally, that could turn into 1 million folks. And even at a $4.99 pay-per-view or pay-per-listen event, that's pretty significant. So there's a lot of interest. We're not the only folks headed down the live streaming path. But what we want to do is we want to be a one-stop shop for the artists. So the artists, the interesting thing, and I don't want to take too much time, but the most interesting thing we found about these artists is they've also become brainwashed that they have to give their music out for free. So these artists have become so accustomed over the past 5 years to sharing their music for free, they're actually struggling with, well, am I a sellout if I put it on your site and they're going to be charged $7.99 to listen to it? And so we've worked with them to help them understand, we'll give you the free platform as well, and you should continue to give it free because that builds your brand and your performance fees. But you should also up the ante and start sharing a lot more content because now it'll be worth your while. So if you always gave a mix out for free once a month, continue to do that free once a month. We give you that ability on the site. But maybe you add 5 more mixes that you can charge the premium for. Yeah.
I'm just curious if you know the average length of a listen, right? So if you're able to see when people are skipping around,
Yeah.
Are they doing that, or
It's
are
about
you listening?
24 minutes is the average listen to a mix. And they do skip around, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, last question.
I noticed on your homepage there you have a pick a genre drop-down box.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're dealing with other genres in addition to EDM?
Absolutely. So there's 80s mixes, 70s mixes, Beatles mixes. One of the coolest things that we launched about 3 months ago is you could search by artist, by track, by song, and it will find the mix that has it in it. So there are a lot of genres in there.
But just to follow the basic business model that you've established with EDM, are these also going to be derivative works like mixes and so on, rather than original material from the original artists?
Yeah, they're all DJ curated mixes. All DJ curated. Some are not remixed, some are complete tracks just mixed one after another, or curated to be one after another rather than an algorithm picking it, it's an artist picking it. But yeah, if I just talk to folks generically about long form content, they generally don't know what I'm talking about. EDM sort of gets most folks' attention.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Bob.